Hello, and welcome to the tutorial on how to make a 3-string ukulele. This video goes together with the written up tutorial which you can find on Lucy and Larissa's Instruments website, so make sure you check it out. Link is in the description below. Okay, so let's get started. To start your ukulele making project, you will need to print out the stencils provided on the website and cut them out with your trusty scissors. Make sure you print out stencil A for the ukulele body. You will take the ukulele body stencil and put it on the foam core board, making sure it's all nicely lined up. Then you will trace it with a pencil. If it's becoming hard to keep the stencil in place, you can always glue it on top of the foam core to keep it all in place. Next thing you'll need to do is make the measurements found on the stencil right on the ukulele shape you just traced out. Make sure you don't forget to label the area where there will be a space or a hole. You don't want to glue anything around there. Yay! Look how happy I look to measure everything correctly. Once you've labeled everything, you will take your box cutter knife and cut out the shape. See safety instructions on the website for alternative tools in case younger students are trying to do the cutting. And this is how it will look once it's cut. I've made some markings so I know where the side body strips will need to go. However, you don't need to do this step as long as you start gluing the strips on the parts that are marked on the stencil. Now you will take the stencil strips that you've cut for the side of the ukulele body and you will glue them around the ukulele shape. You will notice that each of these stencil strips is labeled with a number as well as their length in centimeters, which should correspond with the ukulele shape. Once again, we will make sure that the hole stays open, so we are not gluing anything in this area right here. This should all be labeled on the stencil, and make sure you refer to the website for more information. Okay, so now we will glue the strips with the hot glue gun. Make sure that you're quick with the glue as the glue cools down quite quickly. Also make sure to put some pressure on the strips and hold it until it stays in place. Okay, so now that the sides are all glued, we will trace the bottom part of the ukulele on the foam core board. The reason for doing it now is that the strips tend to have an uneven shape once it's on the top ukulele part. So by doing it now rather than before, we ensure that the bottom shape fits perfectly. Though it looks messy now, once we cut it and sand the sides, it will look great. If you want to, you can try and clean up the edges before the cut. Okay, before we put the bottom and top parts together, we need to cut out the hole on the top part of the ukulele. Make sure you're nice and stable when cutting the hole. Always stay safe. Unfortunately for this next step, something happened to the footage, so I'm not able to show it to you. However, all you need to do is cut out the smaller stencil parts that will be used to reinforce the bottom and top parts of the ukulele. Their position and the amount you will need to cut is shown on the printouts, though you can also get the idea from this picture I took the first time I made the ukulele. Once the smaller stencil parts are cut out, all that remains is to glue them together. And if you have a friend to help you, or a dog to distract you, all the better. Okay, so now that we've glued all the pieces and reinforced the ukulele body, we are going to glue the top and bottom parts around the edges with hot glue gun and then just put it together. If it's not wanting to push all the way in, just wiggle it a little bit until the two parts fall into place. Okay, so now that you have your ukulele body done, you will need to make sure to have a little horizontal line marked on top of the ukulele where your bridge will go. The line is just on top of the bridge, as you can see here. The bridge itself is 3 half parts of about 6 centimeters in length, glued on top of each other. At the moment, I won't glue the bridge just yet, as I want to be able to manipulate it once I put the strings on. However, you can glue it later on if you so wish. Next, you will get your fretboard, which in my case is 42 by 19 millimeters and 35.5 centimeters in length. You can either cut it yourself with a handsaw or have it cut for you at any hardware store. Just be careful because this particular plank has relatively sharp edges, so a good thing to do would be to sand the edges off so it's not harsh for the hands when playing. We also have a smaller cut piece where you will drill 3 3/16 inch holes. Then we will glue the part right here. You can see how the strings will be going right there over the bridge, and the fretboard will be glued like that. Just make sure that the holes on the fretboard are drilled before it's glued. The measurements for the holes can be all found on the website. Okay, so now that the body of the ukulele is done, we're going to start gluing parts of the fret. I've already made another ukulele here, just for time's sake. As you can see, there's 16 little cutouts from the chipboard, which is the original material that I've used, which I would recommend when making ukulele. So I basically glue them all together and then put them on top, and that serves as a support for the fretboard, which you would see on most ukuleles or guitars. You'll see this little part kind of bulging out. So once we put that on top of the ukulele, and you'll have the measurements on where exactly you position it, but it's going to be kind of in the middle. The fretboard will go on top of it and on top of the ukulele, and because we've supported the body here, it should hold quite well. Again, the measurements are going to be on the website, where exactly you want to put the ukulele and how high, where you want to put the fretboard and how high. So once this is glued, we've also taken the little part, this one, where we will drill three little holes, as you can see right here. It's going to be a 3/16 inch drill bit, and measurements are on the website. We'll basically take this part and glue it with the super glue, and then just slide it in and press it on the top part of the ukulele. You don't want it too low. It needs to be higher for the strings to be able to work really well. And then right here we have 6 holes. There's 3 holes that are 1/4 of an inch right here, and then the 3/16 inch holes right next to it. So what happens is we will be using the eye bolt and put it in, and then the strings will be drawn right through here into here to be tied. The length is going to be different for each string. So the first thing we do is we tie the end part of the little bolt. We tie the end part, we just tie it. The problem was, just because of the nature of the string, it's quite slippery. I did end up cheating a little bit and just put some super glue over here. Well, super glue, hot glue, just over there. So basically what we do now, we take the first hole over here, we're just going to thread it through. There we go. And then we're going to put it right there through the other hole. And then, if you can see, we will just put it through here. And then what I end up doing here anyways is just super glue it, or hot glue it, doesn't matter. Probably hot gluing it is better. Just hot gluing this part right here, just to make it a bit easier because the strings are quite slippery. But you don't have to do this step, only if you find it difficult to tie the strings over. And then, yeah, that's it. Also, once you've threaded the string, you're just going to put a little washer and the wing nut, and you're just gonna hold the eye bolt in place. And there you go. Now you can try and tune the string. And there you go. Once your ukulele is all tuned, you will be able to make a sound. Just make sure that you put the little bridge, as that will make a huge difference. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please share your building projects. As a reward, here's some blooper footage of me playing with a dog. Thank you for watching, and keep making and creating.